The last one that you absolutely detested, maybe more than any of the others. Pick 22. Baltimore Ravens don't have a quarterback. They got needs up and down the roster. Hopefully they bring Lamar back because that would be silly not to. I have him taking Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas.
Okay, let me preface this. This is not the player. The player is an excellent football player.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
So I'm looking at the position. And why in the heck would the Ravens waste a pick, not on the Robinson, because he's going to be a very good player, but on that position? Look at their receivers, okay? The only receiver they have is Bateman, and he missed, I think, 8 or 9 games this year with a foot injury. They can go corner. Peters is coming up, and he's 30 years old, and he's also injury prone. They're going to have to probably Lamar is not going anywhere. They're going to franchise Lamar, and then that's whether he'll show up or not. But I think they got to go corner, receiver first, which is their 2 biggest needs. And then I looked at your mock here. You had Addison to Philly, Johnston to New England, Smith and Jigba to Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your corners, you had Porter to Atlanta, Witherspoon to Washington, Gonzalez to Tampa.
Yep.
So that leaves Ringo and Cam Smith.
Right.
I don't think there's any other receivers on the board that I would take there. And then they have a history of really liking big corners. They've always taken big corners. So I could see them going in one of these 2 corners. And don't forget about Banks either from Maryland. I haven't done him yet, but I heard a lot of good things about him out there. And I think he's going to be a climber here as we go through this draft process. But they have to go after one of these guys before they would have to go a running back.
I had Banks going 18 to the Lions. I like Banks a lot, and I'll be interested to see what you think. He fits the description of big cornerback as well. So we'll see where he actually ends up. So here's the follow-up, and we've talked about this. Bijan's probably a top 10 player, but he plays a position that's been undervalued. And let's say he's on the board at 22, and the Ravens decide to go Kelee Ringo, and no one would certainly fault that because, as you point out, that's a huge need. And Kelee Ringo is a get off the bus guy. So I'm going to go down the list of the teams currently picking 23 to 31, and you tell me where Bijan's going to end up going. The Vikings at 23.
No.
Jaguars.
Nope.
Giants.
If Barkley's gone, I would say that would be a possibility.
But if not, then no way. It doesn't make sense, right? So the Cowboys are next.
No.
Bills?
Potentially.
Okay. Bengals?
No.
Saints?
Potentially.
Okay. And then the Eagles and Chiefs.
Maybe Chiefs. Maybe, Eagles. Debo would go off his rocker if they took a running back.
Well, they have guys that are up. I think Miles is up.
Miles is up, and he's probably gone.
Yeah, I could see that there. I think anywhere from any possibility.
Okay.
Because there's someone that's going to say he's just too good not to take at this part in the draft in the first round. Let's go. I had that situation, and we were in the top 10, different era, where running backs were valued a lot more. But we had Chester Taylor coming off a 1,000-yard season, and my first draft, everybody didn't think we needed a runner, and Adrian Peterson was just too good to pass up.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the Ravens. Chester Taylor played for the Ravens, by the way. There's your connection.
Yep, there it is. All right.
But I think
another dollar that Bijan Robinson does not end up being a Baltimore Raven.
No, I'm not taking that bet. You got to give me odds.
Dollar lock.
But I think it is interesting that you came up with 4 teams potentially in the bottom half of the first round: Bills, Saints, Eagles, and maybe Chiefs that could be landing spots. And like the Eagles or Chiefs feels almost unfair to have Bijan on that roster, but that's one of the. And we talked about this all last week. We talked about it before. The way those teams built their rosters, they did a fantastic job, especially the Chiefs, of having to pay the quarterback, and they have so much success with the rookie class that you can go out and perhaps roll the dice. Although, would you have any hesitation if you're Brett Veach or Andy Reid about taking Bijan a few years after taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round?
Well, yeah, he was kind of a bust, but then they say, well, they may be saying, well, hell, we found Pacheco in the 7th round, which means why can't we find another running back down to later that's, like a Pacheco. And we drafted actually McKinnon in Minnesota when I was there. He was a quarterback, and then we drafted him and converted him to a running back. So again, there's just been, and I think it's a pretty deep running back class. I think you can get value on Friday. There's going to be a lot of good running backs on Saturday. Like I said, the player is a first round talent, maybe a top 10 talent, but will teams just say, I'm just not going to do it? I don't care if he's, who he is. I'm not going to take him in the first round just because we're not going to take a running back there.
All right, here's a bet.
That's a regret too.
Here's a bet, and I don't know which side I want to be on. I'm trying to be on the winning side, but I'm trying to do the math here.
Oh, you're 0-4 right now, but go ahead.
Does Bijan Robinson go in the first round?
Oh, I'll take a dollar bet that he does. Yes.
All right, put that on the board, Debo. I'll say no just to take more of Rick's money, but give me a percentage that you think he goes in the first round.
Who, me?
Yeah, like 70% or higher?
No, I'm 85%.
Oh, geez. All right, well, I just lost $1. That's true.